Good morning, and here we are. We're going to review the Halfords motorcycle clock. I've had 3 or 4 different basics Chinese handlebar mounted motorcycle clocks, and they've all failed for one reason or another. So I was going to look for a replacement and talk about the advantages of this model. So we take the packaging away. Here we have the clock. Clamp. A couple of different length bolts and 2 grub screws. Now the main advantage of this clock, if I take it apart, is this cover ring here. So it's got a screw mount at the back. I don't think that's a drainage hole, I assume that's part of the moulding. It's a fairly simple clock, quite a tight fit, which is probably good. A small silicone ring and a crown adjuster here. So most of these clocks rely on this silicone ring to get a weather-tight seal, and 2 of them have failed due to that seal. So I imagine when it ages, it's not quite as good a seal as it once was. A couple of these were just broken, so I don't think there's anything particularly remarkable about the clock, but the case is the reason why I've bought it. So with the clock, you want to make sure that it fits at 90 degrees to these 2 attachment lugs. I'll get onto those in a second. So you squeeze that in, and at the moment that's quite a tight friction fit, again, which is desirable. Give a slight polish with my grubby fingers on it. So as you can see, there are 2 threaded holes either side. Now, because I think this will be a point for water ingress, I'm going to mount this the way I've got it oriented here, with the 2 attachment holes at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock respectively. And the main advantage of this particular clock, show that seated in, give it another rub, is that this cover case seals the edge. Now there's no glassing it, as you can see my fingers going through, so it's just going to deflect rainwater away from this area here. Like that really is seated, I can't get it in anymore, so that just goes over the top here. You line up the hole underneath and you put the grub screw in. Now the threads on this grub screw are actually in the case, not on the receiving hole, so you can start them off like this, back it off slightly, here we go, and now I'm located into the internal hole. Same here. And we have got Allen key set to allow me to just tighten it up, so I'm just going to nip that up. I don't want to go crazy tight on it, there's no reason, and it probably wouldn't take the load anyway. So tighten that down. And there you have it. There's a small rubber gasket in here to help it clamp onto the bars. There is only a bar option for this. That screw goes through and then it screws into the back. So I'm assuming I'm going to need the smaller screw, but I'll show it you fitted to the bike. And there's not really much more to be said than that. The clock itself, I have taken it apart and had a look at the clock. Doesn't look to be anything special about the mechanism. Unfortunately, when this came, it didn't actually run, so I have already replaced the battery in it. But I'll show you fitted. So again, my bike is black and red, so I went for the black face here. Again, a little surprised that the outer bezel is silver inside, but that's covered up this device. And basically this outer case is just going to deflect the rain, I hope, and keep it away from that seal, and hopefully stop water getting in, which has killed the last two of these that I had. So I paid £25 for this from, as you can see, Halfords. It was a web only order, took about 5 days to arrive, and we're just going to give it a try and see how it stands up to the British weather.
So here you can see the clock fitted. There were surprisingly few options to fit it to the bar. It really only went where it is sat now. So I tried it on the lower bar section, but here it's getting blocked by this hex nut at the top of the fork leg. Plus you couldn't see it by the strengthening bar. The strengthening bar itself is too narrow, and the master cylinder blocks it over on the right. So here on the left was my only option really. I think it looks okay. It's a little cramped, but not too bad. So we're just going to fire the bike up for no particularly good reason other than I like to hear it running. So there you have it, the Halfords motorcycle clock. I hope you like what you've seen. If you do, give me a like, and I'll post something up in a couple of months' time when we see how the clock has fared through its first British winter. Thank you very much.